Okay, I wanted to do a quick update to these AC50S Bluetti batteries. They sell for about 430 bucks, and when I complained that this one was having a problem, they even sent me a second one. That's why I've got two. So I kind of got 2 for 1 here, but I wanted to update because actually these do work. I do like them. They give me power in my RV, which I didn't have before. I put 3 extra solar panels on the roof, so I have 3 of them charging at once and hooked into one thing in the back, and I just rotate it in the back. Can't see there, sorry. But in any case, so I just want to update that these do work, except for one problem and one important thing to know about them. Okay, so these batteries do in fact work, and they do what they're supposed to do, except for one problem in particular, which is that the if you have it on in the morning, or whether it's off, whether it's on or off, it may not, the charging function may not kick in, because here's the story. The thing is that they don't say in the instructions is that in order for the battery to charge properly, the battery has to be on, and it has to not stick, because it sticks sometimes. So that what sticking means is that for some reason it won't register as charging, and the way you can see it's charging is if these little indicators here are moving. If you see them moving at all, like if you have a couple down and there's just a little bit of light coming in the early morning, it goes one little flicker, this little thing, that means it's charging. But if you press this and you turn it on and you see that it's static, like nothing's moving, it's, and it's not, it's a depleted charge, so you got 80%, 60%, whatever. If it's not moving, that means it's stuck, and what you have to do is take and unplug the solar, and then and turn it off, and then plug it back in, and usually that will get it to move, and then you'll notice these little things will flicker if there's light out and the panels are getting light. But the problem is, if you leave in the morning, okay, and it's still dark, it may stick and there's nothing you can do about it. Because what I do is I check it. Usually there's a little bit of light. I leave like around 7-ish by the time I get out of here, maybe a little bit before 7. A lot of times. Sometimes I leave earlier than that and it's still dark, and then the problem is that it could stick, and then I come back and it's not charged. So I'll come back, it may be like 60% or whatever, half full, and then it will be that way when I come back. However, if I make sure that it's on and functioning and it's charging, it will be fully charged no matter what. On a sunny day when I come back, it'll be, even if it's like, down to like 20%, it'll be either fully charged or mostly charged, and then the unit will be off, because it'll automatically shut off once it's fully charged. And it doesn't say anything about that in the instructions. And I talked with the tech rep there, and apparently there's kind of a disconnect between the creators of the product and the people who write the instructions in English. I don't know if it's the same in Chinese, but in any case, the product does work, and so far it hasn't had any problems as far as losing charge. That's the only main problem. And it will still slowly charge. I can't even, it's perceptible when it's off. But there's a huge difference. Now, what I was doing, because the instructions seem to say that you save power when you turn it off, what I had been doing in the beginning, I had no idea. It took me a while to learn this. I had been, when I would notice it was charging, okay, so I'd see the little flicker going up, and then I would press and hold the power button to turn it off. So that way you get optimal way. It's charging and the unit's off. So I figured that's how it works. Well, I was wrong. When you turn it off, it's not charging, and they don't say anything about that, and I hadn't seen anything in any video that I watched about this product. So I'm telling you that here fresh and new, and so if you're going to buy this, and by the way, I still recommend them, kind of. If I had to do it over again or recommend it, I would try one of the other ones, either the Jackery or the this other, I think this one called the Blue Yeti, and there's a few other ones that I might give a try first. And also the problem, another problem with this product is that the indicator here is in 20% increments. So at first, when I didn't know all of this, I couldn't tell whether it was charging or not. And I found out that when the unit is on, and by the way, I put this tape over here because it's so bright. These are my sleeping quarters. I sleep on this couch here. These things are so bright that it lights up the room. Even with tape over this, you can still, it lights up the whole cabin here. So, it does work, and you know, it holds a good charge, and you know, I'm pleased with the performance of these for the most part. But if it weren't for that one flaw, and it's a major flaw, because let's say you have a job or something or whatever where you leave in the morning when it's fully dark, and so then you couldn't make sure that the unit was charging the way it should be when it's on, because what happens is, see, if it reliably, when it was off, automatically turned on when the sun hits it, then it would be good. And by the way, the problem is worse when it's cold. When it's warmer, it doesn't have as much of a problem with it sticking, because a lot of times it'll function correctly. So even if it's off, it'll turn on and it will charge correctly and then turn off at the end of the day. It'll fully charge up and turn off. But during the winter, when it's cold and damp, when it's like clouds, so there's the light in the beginning of the day. And by the way, I have 300 watts hooked up to this charging when it's charging, and so right now there's no, well, maybe it's full right now, that's why it's not showing it taking any charge. Otherwise you'll see how much it's getting input, and it'll go up to beyond the maximum, which is 119 watt input, and then it will and you'll see that it charges, and it charges well when it's on. So that's the story with these, and you know, I like the fact that what I like better about these is that you can stack them like this for space. The problem with the Jackery is it has a big, you know, triangle handle thing like that, which is cool for carrying it around, but not as good for saving space. Like for instance, if I want to build a shelf or something and stack these up, which usually and you don't want to buy that big one that costs, because usually, yeah, I could get by with just one, but this is great now that I have two. You see, I even labeled them Unit 1 and Unit 2. But, I mean, they do work. It's just that for that one issue, I would have to say that unless you see a video showing that they've solved that charging issue, I would say give something else a try. You know, give like either the Jackery or something else a try. And the Jackery is, the only issue, though, is that you get half of the cycles according to what they say. I don't know if, you know, it's going to be very hard, you know, to really tell unless you talk with somebody or unless you own two at the same time and you use them over years. Like a lot of things, you know, when they make these claims, you can't tell, you know, how it's going to be, how it's going to turn out. But it's still, these still do work, and I do like them, and I do, you know, I recommend the product if, and that's probably only a software glitch, you know, if they can just get that little, you know, if they can do a firmware update, you know, on these. And they could fix that problem where when it's cold and when there's lesser light coming in, that it sticks, and then it doesn't charge, doesn't, you know, turn on properly and charge at the speed that it should charge, you know, the way you need it. And incidentally, in case you're wondering, it does keep laptops charged. This one is an energy drainer because it's got an advanced video card in it. And I do have another computer now, but I use this one for watching movies at night right now. But this was my main machine for years and years, and it works great for making movies. But I can just tell you that these batteries do work. You know, if you get one of these, you know, $400 range batteries, this you know, 300 watt, you know, rated thing, it does work well. You know, and I mean, they don't last that long, but I mean, it could last you, like, without a charge, without I mean, it'll certainly last you a whole night, you know, like as far as like one whole night, but depending on how much other stuff you're using on it, it does work for laptops, in case you're wondering.